Welcome to the show, guys. We got an exciting one here for you. We are talking about waiver wire week 1 early prep. We're talking early waiver wire. We're talking tune-up. You guys have done your draft. We are getting you guys prepared now for week 1. We're going to talk about some injuries. We're going to talk about some possible swaps you may want to do. I know a lot of people are asking, should I grab Sean Tucker now since, he's been slated as the RB2 on the Bucks? What do I do? We're going to get you guys tuned up, some early waiver wire discussion. And on the show, we got the great and powerful Jimmy Maverick. Welcome to the show, Jim.
How you doing, counselor?
You thought I was going to call you the Wizard of Oz, but I got away from that.
I would appreciate it if you did. I don't like the equating me to the wizard. I'm not the wizard.
All right, Jim, most people have done their drafts now. It's time to buckle up. They're looking at their rosters. They're getting a little bored. There's this feeling of, okay, what do I do now? There's this news here, I want to tell everybody to relax, okay? First of all, believe in the team that you drafted because you drafted them for a reason. You got the 16-round plus tool, the solution. Your team looks good. Don't jump the gun. This is what happens, right, Jim? After week 1, a guy has we saw this with Sammy Watkins. We used him as an example. Years ago, he had this one breakout game. It was a 1-week wonder week. Everyone jumped on the waiver wire, dropped a potential stud, and they were in a disaster mode. So, Jim, any advice to people in this situation? Kind of like this idling stage before the season starts.
Yeah, again, believe in your team. The only players I would really consider dropping right now would be guys that are injured, guys that are not expected to play this week. It depends on when your draft was done. Like for instance, I had a couple drafts I did back in June, and on one of those teams, I've got Dwayne McBride, who was cut, right? He's not on the team anymore. So I'm looking to pick someone up to take his spot, right? And,
right.
But for all these rookies that I picked up and stuff, man, I'm holding on to them right now because what's going to happen here, guys, especially with these young players, with these rookies, is they're going to develop during the course of the season. So week 1, I'm not really interested in starting a lot of rookies outside of Bijan and Gibbs.
Right.
Maybe Flowers, because I love the matchup that Flowers has got this week. But like I said, we got to let these young players develop, get established on their teams, and start to increase and ramp up their usage. So, that's why I got them on my bench. I'm not planning to play them this week, and I'm not expecting to play them in the next few weeks. But as we start to move more into the season, that's when they're going to start becoming valuable. So,
all right, so it's an open discussion here. Now, if you got waiver wire directly to you guys, everything delivered on a silver platter weekly, direct access, exclusive vlogs, patreon.com/FF Counselor. I've linked it below. Join the fantasy front lines. I've linked it below. Join the community, okay? So let's talk about this, Jim, here. Who is somebody that right now is kind of like you're itching to pick him up? He's on the waiver wire. He's there. Maybe you drafted a wide receiver right now. You're not happy with it. You're thinking of swapping him out. Let's talk about some players at each position maybe that are worth picking up right now, kind of in free agency before week 1. Who's jumping out at you? Let's start off with the quarterback position maybe.
Oh, quarterback? Oh, geez. I don't have a whole lot of quarterbacks right now. Why don't you go with yours?
Yeah, I'll go with mine here because there really isn't a lot of quarterbacks. Because with quarterbacks, like I was saying, you kind of got to believe in your guy. If you got 16 rounds, you got your ace quarterback, whether it be Herbert, Lawrence, or someone like that, and you already got your backup, so you're good. So don't be itching to go to the waiver wire. But I will tell you, after week 1, I would not be surprised. I just want to have an open discussion about this, that CJ Stroud doesn't have a big game or someone like that, or someone that wasn't picked up. Maybe Tannehill, who's been under the radar, right? Because a lot of people believe in Will Levis taking that job. Maybe Tannehill has a big pass catch with Hopkins, right? A throw and catch, a big play. And then people are like, oh, I want Tannehill, right? So just relax here. As of right now, for quarterback, there really isn't anybody that's like, I got to swap out my quarterback, right, Jim? I mean, maybe Brock Purdy has a big game too, right? He's available or someone like that.
Purdy's the guy that could be on the waiver wire. And if you've got Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, someone like that on your bench, I'd be inclined to swap him out because Purdy was really good in his games and he's got great, very productive weapons around him. So that would be one that I would consider. But for the most part, I mean, like CJ Stroud, man, he's playing Baltimore this week. I don't think he's going to do very well at all. I mean, a rookie rookie on his first game in the NFL.
Yeah.
I got to say, that's the kind that you want. That's the defense you want to start. You want the defense that's going to play a rookie quarterback on his first game in the NFL. They're going to have a great time that day. So, that's one of those things.
Well, expect some
But yeah,
interceptions for sure, especially out of these young guys. Maybe even an Anthony Richardson. But yeah, how about some running backs here, Jim? I know you got a list there. We got
yeah.
Deion Jackson potentially. People are going crazy because listen, when Taylor comes back, if he ever does, at week 5, all these guys there, Zach Moss who's dealing with injuries, it's going to be a disaster. So obviously the Colts backfield is something you want to address. But if you went with the 16 round plus and the draft strategies that we implemented, you're not going to be starting Deion Jack. You're just not going to be doing it. You're going to be starting the guys that you drafted, right, Jim? Like, I don't see people going crazy about this guy.
Well, I'll tell you what, Deion Jackson looks like a good start for week 1. I mean, why not? He's going to be the starting running back on a team, and he's going to get the volume. Who is Indianapolis playing this week? I don't even know who Indianapolis is
Well,
playing.
that's our preview show, Jim. You're jumping ahead. That's
Yeah.
That's on Thursday.
Oh, they're playing Jacksonville. So I don't know. Again, I've got the teams that I've just drafted,
Yeah.
and in those cases, Deion Jackson was taken. But in those that are more than about a week old, Deion Jackson is probably sitting on the waiver wire. And why not pick him up? Because if he's useful for the first 4 weeks, dude, utilize that.
I disagree with you. I disagree. Maybe take him off the board, but you've got your starters. I'm not going to sit like Bijan or, and Jahmyr Gibbs to start Deion Jackson. Although that being
yeah, I wouldn't either. But let's say you've got Javonte Williams or you got Breece Hall as your third, and you could. I would say, okay, you could take Deion, you could put him in your flex this week, see what he does. If you're really nervous about Breece, you got Deion, put Deion in instead. That's one thing I'm looking at is these guys coming back from injury. I'm really reluctant to want to start them week 1 until I really see what happens with them. Although I do have Javonte starting in a couple of flex spots. So,
and this episode is more of a tune-up. I really want to get you guys mentally prepared for what's going to happen. And you can come in, you can have a guy like Deion Jackson week 1, right? Come in and absolutely tear it up, right? And then you swap. Oh, well, Jahmyr Gibbs only had a 7-point game. Deion had a 30-point game. Okay, is this sustainable is a question you got to be asking yourself before you make these drastic moves. Because what happens is, let's just say, you like Deion, then I got to drop Jahmyr Gibbs, or I got to make a trade. Calm down, guys. It's week 1. It's, Taylor might come back. It's just, again, this is just an example, right? And there's going to be other players that are going to have maybe spectacular 1-week wonders. Maybe a wide receiver 3 on a particular team tears it up, and you're like, oh, I'm going to drop Jamar Chase because, Van Jefferson had a good game.
No one's going to do that, Counselor. No one's going to drop Jamar Chase.
I'm just extreme examples. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And here's the thing, guys. You should just go onto your waiver wire and just see who's there, because you have no idea what the other 11 players in your league are doing, and they could be freaked out. They could be like, "Oh, Judy's got a hamstring injury. He's not going to play. I'm dropping him onto the waiver wire," or maybe Terry McLaurin, or maybe in extreme cases, someone dumped Jonathan Taylor because they're just annoyed that whatever happened. Man, if those guys are available, man, scoop them up. Just take advantage of that situation and get that player onto your team. But it's always good to just kind of check and just to see what's there, because you never know.
Okay, let's go through some names here. Obviously, Deion Jackson, a name here. Everyone's talking about Sean Tucker now, ever since he got slated as
We love Sean Tucker. We love him.
Baby Chubb. Baby Chubb. And again, this guy was a Heisman Trophy candidate. Dealt with a bit of a heart issue. Everything's okay now, thank God. I mean, the guy is ultra talented. He's got a big heart, runs with passion, runs with strength. This guy was, again, completely underrated in the draft. The Bucs got a deal. And I looked at Rachaad White's stats. He was, I think, a third round pick by the Bucs, did nothing last year, and people are hyping him up, saying, oh, he's a phenomenal guy, he's amazing talent. Didn't do anything. I'm not sold on White being the guy there. I think Tucker could take this job. So again, the big question comes, who do we swap out? Again, every team is different, but do you swap out, particularly, let's say, a Deuce Vaughn for a Sean Tucker? I don't know, man. This is a tough one.
I don't know if I could do that. But again, the only guys I'm really interested in dropping off my bench right now are guys that are injured or who have been cut. I mean, guys who you were expecting more out of them, and something bad's happened. I mean, if you
Right.
got a rookie on your team and he hasn't played at all during this preseason, that's a red flag, man. And so it's like, if I could swap that player out for someone like
Right.
Sean Tucker, I would do that. But for the most part, I'm just standing pat. I've got a few here and there, and mostly from my early drafts, from those June drafts, that I need to swap out a couple of players, play the waiver wire a little bit. But mostly, like I said, I'm just staying put. We're going to see what happens over the first few weeks of the season, and then we're going to reassess as to what we need to do with these players. But don't panic. Stay calm. Stay confident with what you got, and let's see what happens.
And one
So
thing I want to implore you, do not just buy the news. Let's talk about the next player here, Jaleel McLaughlin, right? Denver, rookie, 5'7", 187. This guy, I believe he was undrafted. We'll have to double check on that. But listen, Javante's the guy. They got P. Ryan there. And now Sean Payton's giving praises to McLaughlin, saying he's going to be an immediate impact. Immediate impact could mean that he comes out for a run right and immediately has a play. It doesn't mean he's going to come in and take the job from Javonte, right, Jim? And I think people are hyping up. What do you think of McLaughlin? What do you think of Jaleel? Guys? I don't have any stock in him. Could he be a top 10 finisher this fantasy season? Absolutely.
I'm going to say probably not.
Probably not.
I'm going to say probably not.
But Javonte goes down, right?
Right.
He has a breakout run. He emerges like nobody really knows, but am I putting my stock in him? Am I going to be dropping a guy that I invested and I did my research on in my draft to pick up a Jaleel McLaughlin with one news bite? Not going to happen for me, right? It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Coaches lie. They lie like hell in the preseason.
Yeah.
And I never take anything they say with any sort of relevance to your fantasy team. Completely ignore it. Don't do what coaches say. Do what they do. Because this McLaughlin guy, have we seen him at all in the preseason?
No.
I have no recollection of this guy doing anything during the preseason games. Any mention of anything going on in camp where someone's like, hey, this guy's pretty good.
No.
I haven't heard anything about this guy. I think it's just smoke and mirrors. It's the same thing like why they put Dulcich on as the tight end 2.
Yeah.
It's all smoke and mirrors, man.
Bijan RB3. Like, are you serious? And then Quentin Johnson, a first round pick behind Josh Palmer. Dude, that guy's taking the wide receiver 1 spot. And Tank Dell is slated as a 3. And they're posting amazing videos of Tank Dell route running on their social media. The Texans are, and they've got him slated as like a wide receiver 3. You're telling me Robert Woods is better than this young dynamic player that's been amazing in camp, looked amazing in preseason, and CJ Stroud specifically asked that the team draft him. You're telling me Robert Woods is slated ahead of him? That is bull crap. I don't believe anything that they're saying. And it's all political stuff. They're like, this is our guy, and we're just going to play politically correct. We're like, hey, we got to say he's a starter. No, guys, they're lying to you.
Yeah, they're trying to psych out the other coaches. They're trying to confuse what the people game planning against them, and they're just blowing. Like I said, smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all distractions. It's all designed to throw people off. Like I said, don't believe a word that these coaches say. Don't believe anything about that. What the truth is on the field. What that player is doing on the field. Full participant in practice, playing in preseason games. Doing exciting stuff when they're on the field. That's the stuff you follow. That's what you want to see. So go with that. So
let's list off some players you may want to consider. Sean Tucker, like I said, Jaleel McLaughlin, but that's a bit of a reach.
I wouldn't do it.
Zamir White, if he's available. A lot of hype around him was when Jacobs was holding off. Now he's good to go. So Zamir's stock has definitely gone down here.
Yeah.
Deion Jackson. Anybody else at running back, and then we'll go to wide receiver here.
Running back, no. I think that's good. Yeah.
It's, again, you're reaching at this point. I mean, you're going for guys that are total long shots. But again, things can happen. Players could emerge. You don't want to drop the people that you invested high in. I'm going to keep emphasizing. Wide receiver here. Who went on? It depends on who went undrafted, right? And you're going to have people break out. Marvin Mims, maybe he went undrafted. He's going to have maybe a big week. There's news that Jerry Jeudy was by the sideline during practice a day or two ago. So maybe Mims gets an immediate impact. Van Jefferson's another guy might get immediate impact. So with Cooper Kupp and his lingering day-to-day hamstring garbage that's going on. Anyone else here that we're missing? Puka, right? Puka from the
Puka. I wanted to mention Puka. Certainly he has been getting praise in camp. He looks like he's probably going to be maybe the number 2 receiver on that team, maybe. And with Cup dealing with this hamstring injury, that's a pretty good position to be. I would pick him up if he's sitting on your waiver wire, man. I mean, I think he might do something this week. And if he doesn't, just drop him back out on the waiver wire, you know?
Again, so let me give you some insight here. 6'2", 205. I think it was a 5th-round pick. Head coach Sean McVay expects Puka Nuka, whatever. I don't know if that pronounced
Puka Nakua.
Puka Nuka.
It's a great name. It's so fun to say. Come on.
Puka Nuka could be an immediate contributor to the team. So again, is he going to be an immediate contributor? Possibly, especially if Cooper Kupp's out. Kupp and Puka. So there you go, Puka Nakua.
There you go. Yeah. And the other one, Tank Dell, man. If you have any drafts that were done more than about before preseason started, chances are Tank Dell is sitting on the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Go pick him up, man. Just pick him up. His stock has fallen in the past couple of weeks. He came out in the first game of the preseason, was awesome. Like had 8 targets in the first game of the season, first preseason game. They didn't do much in week 2 and week 3, so he's kind of fallen back now. And even in drafts that are done this week, he might have just totally not been drafted in your league. Go check. Go see if he's there. I would pick him up.
We're giving you guys some golden nuggets here, some gems, some advice here. Again, be aware of your waiver wire. Don't jump the gun. Don't get too excited. Don't drop players that you worked hard to invest. So a very key piece of information here that you guys want to pay attention to. Now, moving to tight end here, I had a great question today. Like, I'm a believer in Sam Laporta. You got to have some faith too, right? When you draft a player, you got to believe in him. So I believe that Sam Laporta is a top 5 tight end finisher this year in fantasy. Could I be wrong? Maybe. We're gonna get a glimpse of it this Thursday.
We're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out the hard way because I'm starting him. So I had a question. I was looking at a guy's bench. I don't even know if I can pull up this his bench, but he had Pat Freiermuth, and he had no backup tight end. And his options on the bench, he only had like 4 or 5 bench spots. The guys on his bench you didn't want to drop. They were really good backups or immediate impact players, wide receiver 1s and 2s. So I'm like, you can't drop anybody. But he's like, I really want Laporta. I'm thinking, for me, I think Laporta does better than Pat, but it's very hard to drop Pat Freiermuth for Laporta. This is a one for me. I would do it, but I'm crazy.
I wouldn't do it. I would keep Freiermuth. I think Freiermuth is going to be great this year. I think he's going to be, and he's a 3rd year. That's like prime for a player having a really good year. I'm personally very excited about the Steelers offense. I think they're going to be really good. And I think Freiermuth is going to be a beneficiary. I don't know if I would drop him for Laporta, but perhaps you could go to one other team in your league, do a 2-for-1 trade, trade Freiermuth and another player for an upgrade player for your team. Then you got an open slot. You can take Laporta then, but I would not drop Freiermuth onto the waiver wire because you're just going to give another team a nice advantage there. So don't do that.
It's hard to drop them, and that's where I have a hard time doing it. Yeah, the trade option, if available in your league, is a good option. The thing is, I just think the reason I like Laporta is because I see him immediately as a 2nd option. Pat is a 4th option, in my opinion. You got Deontay, you got maybe Najee after that, and then Pickens, and then you got Freiermuth. So that's why I look at it like that. But again, it's the way you view it. I think Laporta is going to be immediate impact. He's going to score a touchdown in week 1. You're going to start seeing it. And then this is where I'm giving you a heads up. He's going to be a waiver wire wonder. Watch this. Laporta, waiver wire wonder. Everybody will be on the Laporta train. Choo choo. I'm already on it. I'm already on it. Like, I'm already, the train is already taken off. And I've got front row seats. They're serving me coffee and biscuits right now, Jim. And I'm already on the train. It's on the rails. It's going. But everybody after week 1 will be on the Laporta train, the Deuce Vaughn train, the Tank Dell train. You're going to start seeing all these waiver wire wonders. But we've already talked about them back in May. It's going to be amazing. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, the only tight end that I'd be looking at to pick up right now is Cade Otton, who is Tampa Bay's tight end. He was really good. He averaged 4 4 targets per game in his rookie season. So now he's going into year 2. We got an injury with Mike Evans right now happening. So Mike Evans may or may not play. I can see a nice expansion in his usage this year as the safety valve, as the dump off play. And so because of that, I've been grabbing him late. Like I just did a draft this past weekend, and I think I got him in like the 18th round. So he's definitely a guy that's probably sitting on the waiver wire. If you need a second tight end and you're not happy with the one you picked, like let's say you picked, I don't know, Zach Ertz or someone like of that caliber, I'd probably try to do swap him out and put in Otten in its place because he's young and he's ready to take on a bigger role in that offense. So I think he's going to be good this year.
Okay, a couple defense streamers if you're desperate. Again, I always tell you draft a top 10 defense. I do like the matchup of the Commanders versus Arizona. Jim has been talking about the Saints the entire offseason. We've been talking about the Saints having great matchups. The Saints do have a good matchup versus Tennessee week 1. They are at home, which is good. Falcons versus Carolina with those rookie quarterbacks, man. Look for some interceptions. I like the Rams versus Seattle. Not a terrible matchup. Broncos versus Vegas, Chargers versus Miami. Again, we're not sure what Tua can do. So there's a couple stream matches again if you're desperate. But
I want to mention one. I got Minnesota playing Tampa Bay at home. Love that matchup. So that's a great one too. And even if you have a really good defense, you could have a really crappy week 1 matchup. Like for instance, Buffalo's playing the Jets this weekend. Buffalo's a good defense, but I don't really want to start them playing a team like the Jets, who look like to have a very explosive offense. So, if I could just swap that out and play Minnesota instead or Washington instead, I'd be way more comfortable with that. That seems like it'd be a better start for week 1.
Yeah, and this is why I say I always try to draft a top 10 defense because I want to feel warm and fuzzy when I start every single week. I want a good defense, right? So again, if you need to stream, go ahead, stream. We're going to cover you guys that in the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/FF Counselor. I think that's
for me, I'm a total streamer. I stream the defense position and it works out pretty well, to tell you the truth. There's always good matchups every single week. Even if it's not a great defense, if they're playing a rookie quarterback or something like that, that's a great matchup because what you're looking for is turnovers and fumbles and interceptions, and that's what happens if you got a good matchup. So anyway, that's why I'm in on these.
And
guys.
you can really take advantage of these rookie quarterbacks early on this season with some good stream matchups because again, there's probably going to be a lot of mistakes to be made, and you're going to be capitalizing on fantasy points wise. So yeah, Jim, I think that's it. Is there anything else you want to say here, guys? Week 1, you've done your draft. I mean, now it's time to go and believe in your players, right?
Man, I'm so psyched. I'm just so ready for the season to start. Thursday night can't come soon enough. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow, Counselor.
Is it really?
It's happening.
No. You got us excited.
Oh no, I'm a day off. Damn it. It's 2 days.
I'm releasing this Tuesday morning. So so maybe if you're listening to this on Wednesday, it's tomorrow. But if you're listening to this, I release it. It's Tuesday. So
I'm already ahead of myself, man. I'm just like, I wanted to be here so bad.
And you got, I know it's like a kid at Christmas, and you got me excited for a second. I'm like, is it really tomorrow? And then my false hope.
No, it's not. Dan, sorry.
Everybody.
That
was very Wizard of Oz of you, Jim. Very
it was. That was. I was trying to gaslight everybody thinking that today is Wednesday. It's not. It's only Tuesday.
I gotta stop.
I'm all messed up because of the holiday. I don't know.
I gotta stop calling you Wizard of Oz. It's starting to rub off. All right. All right, guys. Waiver wire. I mean, week 1 is here. Go out there. Confidence. And again, stay glued to the channel. Turn on the bell. We're going to be breaking news here. We're going to talk preview. We're going to do everything to get you guys ready. Waiver wire on the channel. Turn on that bell. Subscribe. Jim, it's go time, man. This is what it's all about.
That's right, man. Let's do it.
All right. We're out, guys. Have a good day. Drop a thumbs up. We're out.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.